I like that quote. I think you know, it applies to us, to you guys. You're definitely all in the arena of doing your schoolwork and trudging through a semester, trudging through a class at a time or a few classes at once, and trying to balance everything else going on in your life. It's not an easy thing. And being in the middle of that is what will allow us to say, hey, yeah, even if I made some mistakes, I've dared greatly. I'm doing great things in my life. So, you know, putting ourselves in in a situation where we get stretched and we grow and we feel some of that pain. That's how we become better. So, I thought that quote from President Roosevelt hit that on the head. I'll send out the link to President Gilbert's talk. I think it's a great talk, at least the first part that I heard. I'm going to listen to the rest of it tonight. So, well, thanks for joining. A couple of you. So how's it going? You both have sent your finals to me, right? Not yet? Oh, yeah.
I sent mine.
Cindy. So.
I sent mine through the email, through your,
Okay.
to you email.
Okay, yeah, I got yours, and I was thinking of your question you asked, Cindy. So it is 3. It kind of boils down to 3 topics. So we'll have to look at that in the course. It does, in the instruction, it does say 4, but it's 3. So I think I can't hear you. You on mute?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. My kids use the headset for watching movies, so.
Oh.
I didn't click on the link to see if I could even access the final. I just read the instructions, and so it said there was 4, and I don't have all 3 of them typed up yet. So I was like, wait, if there's 4, I don't want to click on that link yet.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that what I was doing, but yeah, still kind of putting finishing touches on it. And I have sick kids. Like my kids' whole school sick. Like it's so crazy.
Oh no.
So we've been balancing the 6th graders' homework with my homework and my son's finals. So I'm all,
Yeah, it gets crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, we're getting there.
Good. Good. Well, I will get grading those. Final grades are due on noon of the 21st. So that's when I'll be getting everything completed by. Probably sooner than that. You know, hopefully this weekend I'll have a majority of it done and reviewed. And then I can't remember when you guys can see those. I think it might be a day or 2 after, or so I'll try to find out that. I can't remember how long they wait for those to be posted, but soon after. So soon after.
Just a little bit of reading material for you this week.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, you guys all did, from at a glance, you know, you guys all gave really good, solid answers. So I'll get to do lots of reading, but I like that. I like to see how you guys think. So.
Well, you have due and final, so you have like a lot of reading.
What's that? I missed the first part.
I said with due hickeys and finals, you have a lot of reading this week.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be a lot. So we'll do it in sections.
Good idea.
Good deal. Well, just to kind of wrap it up in this last little meeting, you know, I appreciate you gathering. Again, not required, but I always like to be available if you have questions, and then talk about HR. Of course, the final, we're kind of wrapping up and putting into one every topic and everything that we've discussed. So, you know, that's the purpose of it. It's supposed to be a learning tool to kind of synthesize what we've learned. So, so how is your view of HR? How did it start, and how is it now? Has it changed?
I don't know if it changed. I don't know. I guess I really don't know. I mean, I guess I really just thought of HR as like the people that handle the benefits mostly. I didn't really think about some of the other things they handle. Because having not worked outside of home for 17 years, like the only part of HR I deal with through my husband's work is the benefits, because I'm the one that kind of reads through all that and figures it out. Like he just brings me the folder and it's like, here you go, open enrollment soon, and I kind of figure it all out. And so that's really been my only interaction, so to speak, with HR. And at his previous company, I talked to the HR person quite a bit. This time in this bigger company he works for, I don't talk to him at all. I just look at the folder and tell him what he needs to do, and most of it's online, so we just go through and do it online. And then, so I didn't really think about all the other aspects of like what they're involved in.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
But my opinion of HR, or my idea of what they didn't really change, but for the diverse areas that you really need to be aware of. I mean, there has to be a level of knowledge and expertise in each of those areas that we talked about. So if you're a really big company, you could have different groups of people that deal with something specifically, but not, in general, not all companies are super companies. So the HR person has to be the one who knows everything. And so, yeah, to me, that was, a little more respect for those that deal in HR, but it didn't make me not want to be there.
Well, good.
So, because I always had a desire to work in HR, and so it didn't turn me away. It's just like, okay, a little more understanding.
Well, good. Yeah, that awareness can increase. That's good. Yeah, don't turn away from it. It's fun.
I would say for me, it's almost pushed me more in that direction. My degree up until now has been more focused on social sciences, social work. But as I've been the last couple semesters in more and more business classes, I feel more like heading more towards HR. It still has some of that social science aspect, but not psychology, social work dynamic. So it's actually encouraged me a little more in that direction.
Well, good. That's great. I can relate to that because I was a developmental therapy tech all through college, and I worked part-time elsewhere. But yeah, the social work side of it versus the business side of it, it's a little bit, you use both sides of that coin, so to speak, but the business part of it can be a lot of fun.
I noticed university studies degree, there's an admin assistant cluster and an HR cluster, but an assistant certificate, but not an HR certificate. Do you know, it seems to me like it would, if there's a cluster for it, to me that they wouldn't offer a certificate program for the clusters. Yeah,
I'm not sure. The academic advising office might have some more insight on that for you. What the certificate program is versus the other levels of the degree. I'm not sure on that. I know they keep branching out on that, and they didn't actually have as much of the certificate programs going while I was there. They had the clusters, but the certificates were kind of a new thing. So, but yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, I am interested. I'm actually gonna take and redraw my focus now. Cluster courses, and probably so actually that's one thing this course did for me. I was going to be satisfied with just an A, and now after this I've decided that I'm going to do a bachelor's and most likely do the university studies. So that was a big thing for me to decide this term.
Oh, awesome. Great. So you're daring greatly, right? That's great.
Very much so. That's awesome.
No, that's really good. Yeah, it's more work and everything, but you're not going to regret it. I've never regretted my education. So it's something you can take with you and apply and use in all parts of your life.
Right. That's the thing. It's like this applies to what I'm doing. And so, it's that exactly what you said. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but everything is.
Right. What is it? Yeah. That's great. Good for you.
Yeah, that's the one thing I found that it applies to so much. I mean, like I said, right now I'm a stay-at-home mom, but there's so many days that I'm like, oh, that kind of, just some of the communication things like that we've talked about, just the various ways of doing things. Like, oh, that kind of applies to this or that. Or like I said, I'm the one that kind of directs my husband through which benefits we want or how we want to do it. I mean, really and truly, like, he makes the money, but I figure out what to do with it and how to spend it. So, like, I'm kind of the decision maker. So it has helped me a lot from a business standpoint to just apply it in my life now, but it's kind of given me more direction as far as what to do if I do enter the workforce. Because I think I would be more interested in the business HR side than the social work. There's definitely a need for that, but I don't know if I could be the one to handle walking people through their depression or their anxiety or their marital problems as much as, like, maybe helping on the business side of it.
Yeah, I like that. We can
My daughter,
go ahead.
my daughter was considering, social science, and honestly, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of work in that area either.
I think there's a demand for it. It's just that you need a master's. And like when I started looking into the master's program, so my associate's degrees are really old. I graduated in '96 with my associate's degrees. And so my general classes were over 10 years old, and both schools in Utah, BYU and University of Utah, that have a master's program in social work, I would have to retake a good 5 classes, which I could retake through BYU Idaho at like the pathway price that I'm at. But at the same time, it's like, if I don't really want to do that, then a master's in social work it's not worth my money or time at this point. For my life, I'm looking more at, if I can stay home, that's what I plan to do. But if I have to go to work, especially with my almost 18-year-old heading out on a mission in the next year, if I have to enter the workforce, I want to enter the workforce with a bachelor's degree and something marketable. So that's something that this class has done for me, has shown me like how to use the HR cluster that I have and be a little more marketable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So I just read an article this morning, actually, on LinkedIn. I don't remember the title of it even, but it was an article about HR and the perception of HR. So there's this common thread, and it's getting better, but there's this common thought that, oh, you're a people person, you would do well in HR. And that may be true, but it's only partially true. HR, the new HR, the HR you didn't hear about 15 years ago is, you need to know how business works too. You need to be sharp on both sides. It's not just where people persons go. And it's a big deal. There's a lot of analysis, analytics, a lot of data mining and things that go into human resources nowadays that, it's not just, if you're an IT person and I said, hey, you should think about going into HR, they might be like, what? But really, we all need those management skills. We all need the interaction skills to be able to give feedback and be able to lead and be able to run a business, run an operation. So it's not just for the softies, right?
Especially not for them now, right? You have to not be a softie.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
You have to be pretty firm and compassionate. It's like you have to do that balance.
Mm-hmm. And I had, early on, while I was in my graduate program, I got that feedback from an HR recruiter who I'd worked closely with. He'd give me that feedback. He's like, you need to have spark and snarl, sparkle and snarl. So, and I actually really took that to heart, because it's like, yeah, I come across as a nice guy, and I am a nice guy, but when I have to talk tough, that's actually a skill. And that doesn't mean you have to be a jerk, but it's kind of like being a parent. You got to know when to be firm, right? So, spark and snarl.
It seems like, well, after being in the class, you can kind of see HR as a little less of the bad guys, right? Like they kind of have a perception of they're the bad guys a little bit. But like something I've thought about when I think about repentance and forgiveness, especially just, we have a family dynamic that's kind of difficult. It's hard to know where where you cross the line from being forgiving and where you're continually victimized by the same people. And so it's really bothered me for a long time, because I'm like, I want to be forgiving, especially since some of these people are in-laws and family, but at the same time, I don't want to keep being victimized by what they're doing. And so it finally came to me that you have to be firm but loving. So like your sparkle but snarl thing, like Christ was very firm but loving, right? I mean, he cleansed the temple. That was firm, but he was still loving. So I think that's how, kind of how I think of HR, is you have to find that, or parenting, you have to find that consistency and that firmness, but still loving.
Yes, I love it. And it's hard to do. So how do we do it? How do we find that?
I
don't know. What's your secret?
think some of it is an innate ability. I believe that, because not everybody's cut out for that. And some people, when you think of in the realm of the world, not everybody has an easy time being forgiving or being able to put things aside. So, that not only are you dealing with different personalities and different aspects of what people have learned, there's also these innate things that are inside of us that we have to recognize and work through.
Yeah, so we all have different, like you said, personality. We're all unique that way. So it's hard to be all conclusive for everybody. There's a scripture that I've referenced a few times, section 121 of the Doctrine and Covenants. Reprove betimes with sharpness when moved upon by the Holy Ghost, and then afterwards show an increase of love. And that, I think, it's not my secret, because I'm learning that, but that is my go-to verse on it, is reprove betimes with sharpness. The Holy Ghost can help us know when to step in, when to stay back and have a listening ear. And the sharpness in that verse is referring to reprove betimes in a timely way. Give the feedback now. Don't sit on it and wait when it won't be effective. And then show that increase of love. So right. So and then what did Brigham Young say? He says we should not correct anybody beyond the balm that we have to heal up their wounds. So
I like that one.
That balance.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. It does. It helps you be very balanced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so we can scold somebody or get upset or whatever, but then we have to be able to bind that up and get them back on their feet or whatever image that creates for you. But I'll find that quote. That's in a book I read a few years ago. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one, but that's it's definitely helped me in my career path so far, because right now in my day job, I am the HR point of contact. So I don't have a staff working around me other than 2 recruiters. Everything else HR comes to me. And so trying to wear those different hats is important. And when discipline comes into play, I have to be the one that advocates, but also corrects and to find that balance. So I think something that helps too, though, is I don't, if I have to be firm with someone and we're making ourselves clear, it's usually in an office setting behind a closed door. And usually previous conversations have happened with a manager. They're usually not surprised that they're getting that challenging conversation. And so if you're doing it the right way, same thing what we talked about with terminations, somebody shouldn't be surprised that they're getting terminated if we're doing it the right way. So spark and snarl.
The motto of HR guys.
Yeah, it's stuck with me. I was told that probably 4 years ago. So Yeah, and I'm glad. So I'm glad that your awareness has increased and that this class has helped you kind of refine your goals. That's good. As you go through different classes, you get more interested in things and kind of carve out your path. So, yeah, those were the thoughts on my mind. Was kind of just talk about HR and kind of your view, if it's changed, or your awareness of it. And I appreciate you sharing your goals as well. That'll help whoever takes a listen to this too. Any other thoughts or questions or concerns?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't have anything.
Well, I didn't plan to go a full hour. I didn't know how long we'd go or who would show up, so I appreciate you hopping on. I will send out, I'll try to find that quote I mentioned, and then I'll send out that talk link. And then feel free to, if you have questions down the road, let me know. HR stuff, just let me know, or you need to look at a resume, I'm happy to do that. So
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do
You're
you teach any other classes?
right now, just this one. So previous to this one, I was in the Pathway program. I taught the life skills class. So if need comes up there, that might come up. But right now, I'm focusing on this one. So.
Oh my gosh, that was seriously one of the hardest classes I've ever taken.
Life skills was? Yeah.
I don't know if it caught me off guard. Like when I started Pathway, I was like, oh, I was pretty good in school. It'll be fine. It's life skills. I'm a mom, I've done life skills. And like the material wasn't hard. It was just you'd open a folder and it'd be like read 5 conference talks and do this and this. And then like on Wednesday, you'd open another folder and like read 5 more and watch 2 videos. And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's a lot of reading when you teach that class, because that was a lot of writing and a lot of reading.
Yeah, it is. And then you do a lot of like quizzes or responses to the readings, and then your reflections and stuff. Yeah.
Discussion boards, and yeah, there's a guy in our ward that's dating a gal that started the Pathway program, and he came up to me and he's like, she's having a really hard time. I'm like, if she gets through life skills, she's gonna be fine. Like as soon as that semester's over, she's gonna be good. Keep encouraging her through that one, and you'll be fine.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a good workload. It gets you started right away on lots of work. So.
Oh yeah, I was thinking easy A, breeze through. Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah, I love the topics of that class though. And I think it's like, man, if I could teach my kids topics, I would pull all the topics from that class.
Oh, it'd be great family home evening. Like I used a lot for family home evening because like it was great. But the time that you did the time management one, you had to like write down every 15 minutes what you were doing. I felt so responsible to that piece of paper. I was like, this has to look good. I ate while reading scriptures. Like if we all had to be accountable to a piece of paper to manage our time, we'd all get a lot more done.
Oh man, I agree. It's like, well, I'm on my cell phone way too much,
Yeah, it was really eye-opening. I mean, it was definitely worth it, but man, that was not an easy A class that I thought it was going to be.
Well, good. Well, you made it. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. If I have to or get to teach that class again, I'll kind of know the experience. So.
I was like, wow, this one, I don't know, like first semester, I don't know what it was, but I was like, man, this class is not what I thought.
Well, good. But yeah, so I love this class, and I'll teach again in the winter. Just a couple week break, and then we'll jump into a new class. So looking forward to it.
So Joyce, have you found other HR classes to take for winter?
I'm trying to set up an appointment to change my major, but I am definitely looking at them. I've already signed up for 2 classes for next semester, so I don't know if I'm going to try and change them or not, but I need to get that appointment first to make sure that that my understanding is clear.
Yeah.
But I can only manage 2 classes a term.
Oh yeah, me
And
too.
so I did 3 once, and it killed me. It took me into tax season. I really thought I was going to die. It
Oh,
just,
man. Yeah,
so I've learned my limit, 2 classes per term. That's it. So that gives me 6 classes a year.
good.
So I just want to make sure that I don't take any classes I don't need, right?
For
Yeah,
sure.
I had a bunch of extra credits that I didn't really need, but it was fun.
I've stayed with the 2 the whole time too, just because like that's what I did through Pathway, and so I just kept it, and that's really all I feel like I can do.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great, especially when you're trying to manage your life outside of school too.
Right, right. And it's like, we either have families, well, you have a family, you have, if you work, so I was telling my husband, I can only live one day at a time, right? I go to work, and when I come home, it's like, what homework do I have to do, or what what young woman activity do I have tonight? And it's like, there is no scheduling. It's like I'm giving a talk on Sunday, so it's like, okay, after this Google Hangout, now I will sit down and do my talk, and because tomorrow night is a LuLaRoe party, and Friday's date night, and Saturday's one day at a time. That's all I can do. One day at a time.
Yeah, that's right. So that's why I shared that daily bread talk the other day, because I was having those same feelings. It's like, man, but
Yep.
day by day we do what we can, and the Lord gives us the rest. So,
For sure.
well, cool. I've enjoyed working with everybody, working with you, and having you in class and learning. See, I get to be your instructor, but I get to learn along the way. So it's a win-win for me.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate everything that you've said and done.
Of course, yep. Happy to do it. It's fun. So, and I'm glad we get to do it through this Google Hangout. I think that's much better than the discussion boards, if you ask me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if they're taking a survey, I vote for Hangouts versus discussion boards.
Yeah, they're fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that'll all, that they'll just continue to make changes in this program. Their vision for pathways and the online teaching at BYU Idaho is, we've got thousands and we've got hundreds of thousands. They want millions, and they'll get there, and they'll probably get there quicker than we think. So, pretty cool to be part of it.
Yep.
Very.
Well, good. Well, I'll let you go. Thanks for joining, and if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you.
Okay.
You bet.
Thank you.
Take care. Best of luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Same to
See ya.
you.
Thanks.